Good morning. This is Now Breakfast with Chika and Nabilah Usman.
Mr. Adebayo Ajayi,
Yes.
why are you running for office?
Thank you very much. That's a very beautiful question. You see, if you have witnessed what has happened in Lagos in the past, pre-advent of APC, you will have seen a beautiful part of Lagos. But today, what we are seeing in Lagos is far cry from those periods we have seen before. Lagos is becoming a hostile place for people. In those days, Lagos is seen as a city of refuge. When people are having problems in the southwest, in the northeast, in the southwest, everywhere in the country, their next place of abode is Lagos. They run to Lagos as for refuge. But if you see Lagos today, you will see that things are bad. Lagos is no longer accommodating people. Things are becoming hostile and difficult every day. In fact, you will see an average graduate that just finished university can hardly live in Lagos. How will he live? How could he cope?
Why do you think that is?
You see them in the suburb, living in Ogun State, they could not afford the standard of living in Lagos State. It's not because there is an improvement. It's not because of movement of people to Lagos en masse. No, that's not the point. In fact, in those days, people moving to Lagos en masse. That movement has now diverted to Abuja, because those people that used to come to Lagos in those days from north, from east, most of them are now in Abuja. So we cannot say it's because prayer is on Lagos, that's why things are becoming harder in Lagos. But things are becoming harder in Lagos because of the way they are running their fear of Lagos. The people in government felt already they have captured the minds and the body of everybody. They felt whether they perform or they do not perform, people will vote for them. They felt whether they are able to satisfy masses or not, their votes don't even count. So how would they change them? But that's why people like us that felt, if everybody is saying, let's sit down and watch, sit down and look, things will continue like this. And before we know what is happening, Lagos will be one of the most backward states in Nigeria. That is what we want to avoid.
So let's talk about your background and some of the things that you have done that you believe qualifies you for this job.
Thank you very much. You see, there's an adage that says, whosoever is entrusted with few and maximally utilize that few for the reward of many can adequately take care and handle many if you give it to him. By the grace of God, I'm a labor leader. I've been a labor leader for the past 20-something years. In fact, I rose to the position of the state chairman of Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. I man over 100,000 people, of course, successfully for almost 8 years. I was the chairman TUC. I was the secretary, Joint Negotiating Council of Nigeria. And on so many occasions, I've represented people, and I represented them adequately and very well. And in fact, after my first time as the chairman of TUC, people have to say, you didn't go, complete your term. Do the second time. I said, no, let somebody else come. They said, no, we want the replica of what you have done the first time. And that's why they brought me for the second time. And I did very well. You may want to say, because I've been to so many media organizations, they will ask me, how can you compare 100,000 with 17 million people? I laugh. That's why I use that adage in the first instance. That whosoever is entrusted with few and use it well, if you entrust many into his hand, he will do it well. Because I've looked around the country, almost all the governors in 36 states, they have never been to government school. There's nowhere they call governor school, where they have tutorials and education before they become a governor. And when they got to office, some of them do perform very well. Adebayo was never a governor before. He was a trade union man like me. He rose and he became the governor of his state, first term, second term, and even he was, see many other political offices he has occupied because of his virality, because he was versatile, he was intelligent, because of the little office he was entrusted in
Right. But my question is,
yes,
in translating labor leadership into democratic leadership,
yes,
is I wonder if you feel as though there is a disconnect in somewhere, and because labor struggles and labor principles are generally socialist in nature, and a place like Lagos is beginning to look very capitalist in nature. And so I wonder if you think that you can, if you think that you can exist having come from a place where you were more socialist and try to, bend that into shape in a society that is beginning to look capitalist, or at least has capitalism aspirations.
Thank you very
capitalist
much.
aspirations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, partly you might be correct, but let me say this. If you look, there is no society under this surface of the world that is purely capitalist. And there is no society that is purely socialist society. You will see the element of socialism in capitalist economy, and you will see an element of capitalism in social economy. So it's more or less interwoven. It depends on the man on the seat at the helm of affairs. That's number one. It depends on the political party that you come in through. If you come through a purely capitalist political party, you will discover that there's nothing you can do. You will be a capitalist, it will be a capitalist economy, all true. Because all they are after is profit, all they are after is money, all they are after is on their own personal welfare. So unlike a socialist economy where you see people thinking of other people. And if you look at the mission statement of my political party, YPP, you will see that from head to toe is talking about socialism. It's talking about welfareism. It's talking about individual living, sweetening the society. It's talking about how society, how the government can better the life of society. It talks about poor. Our major concern is about poor. How do we elevate, how do we bring up the poor? That is the number one context of our political party. Two, we are thinking of how we can bring up youth, to enthrone youth in governance. How youth can take over. Because we discover that most of these old ones are already winning out. Most of them, instead of thinking of how to build the younger ones, how to bring them to the seat, they are thinking of how to replace themselves, how to recirculate their own system. If you do this time, okay, then you come next time. That's what they are thinking. They are not thinking of for tomorrow. So, but if you look at my own political party, it's about enthronement of the youth. It's about social welfare. It's about recovery of the lost youths. It's thinking of how to better the life of the society.
But all these things cost money.
Yes, what I'm now saying is that, yes, you want to tell me Lagos don't have money? We have sufficient here. Let me be sincere with you. It is the utilization that is the problem.
Let me come in here, sir.
Yes.
So having enough money in the society is one thing. Being able to collect what you're due as a government is one other thing. And you are only going to be able to operate with the money that you are able to collect. So, in that sense, in a society that has structurally struggled with collecting taxes, how do you want to collect what you think Lagos State is due before we even talk about how you're spending?
Thank you very much. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. You see, in a society where the government is responsive, not only responsive, it's responsible. Are you with me? In a society where government is responsive and responsible, it's easier for you to collect what belongs to the government from the people, from the governed.
Please explain that.
Yes. For instance, in my environment, Iju Ifako, there are so many bad roads there. If peradventure a government just comes to power, peradventure I get into power or somebody else gets in power and concentrate and make sure the street is tarred, the street lights is there, the garage is organized, there's no hoodlums on the streets, everywhere is organized. Let me be sincere with you. To collect tax from people will be so easy. People will see what they are doing with the tax. For instance, let me tell you one thing. NEPA in those days, PHCN, in those days they will come with crazy bills. Our people call it crazy bill. People fight. We don't want this bill. You are not supplying. You are just collecting money. All those crises everywhere. But all of a sudden, in my environment, I just discover that there is regular supply of light. I don't mean 100% regular, but at least averagely 50% better than we used to have it in the past. We enjoy it first month, second month, the third month they brought a bill. I happen to be one of the representative of a community CDA. They brought the bill. Many people came. They said they have brought crazy bill. Oh, see the bill they brought. I said, I happen to be one of them. I said, let's be sincere with ourselves. This bill they brought is just about 25% increment from what we used to pay before. But how is the light? How are you enjoying the supply of the electricity now? The electricity is getting better in your house. You are enjoying it. They bring the little bit, and you want to. They turn it to vote. About 80% supported me because they are enjoying it. It's easier to collect tax where government is responsible and responsive.
Yeah, but we can't rely on the goodwill of the people to collect money, because like you have just said, it took you to actually stand, put your feet down and collect this money, despite the people having actually enjoyed an improved service when it or an improved service as regards electricity, that they were receiving. And so my question is, on a large scale, in a society where a lot of the businesses are informal, they don't pay taxes, they've never paid taxes except for the VAT on regulations, a lot of them don't pay income taxes. How does Lagos State want to tax the informal sector and get what is due from them?
Yes, let me say this. The informal sector are not being cared for by the government. That is why it's difficult for them to get tax from them. And that is why many of them evade tax. They go free, scot-free. Because they are not identified. Because nobody knows them. Nobody cares for them. Nobody knows their problem. In our own government, we want to know their problem. Let me tell you one thing. The middle class, where is the middle class in our society again? Wiped off. Who wiped them off? Is it not the same government? Is it that you are rich or you are poor today? But in those days, somebody will be in the middle to take care of the poor, getting from the rich and take care of the poor. That is how it's true. That man in the middle brings somebody from down to join himself. That is the way the ladder is moving. And that's why society is not crying those days. We are crying today because middle class is wiped off. It's no longer there. And that is what our government is coming to do. We are going to make sure the middle class is returned. The only way we can return middle class is to develop these people we are talking about. That they are not captured in the tax. Before you capture them in the tax, you must know they exist. You must know their problem, and you must fortress them. You must assist them. They are not assisted. Almost all of them are just straying in the street. The government will say, okay, we want to empower them. They give them 200,000. After they might have paid up to 30,000 to get that money. They gave them 30,000. Transport has gulped almost half of it before they start the business. But by the time they just start the business, electricity supply is epileptic. They cannot produce. At the end of the day, the money is wasted. That is what our own government is going to do. When we come into power, we are not going to just give them money. We will give them an enabling environment. If you give somebody an enabling environment, by the time you give him little money, he will be able to utilize it and become somebody and move from the lower side to the middle class.
Yeah, but in doing that, I also want us to understand that Lagos exists in a Nigeria that many will say is largely dysfunctional. Lagos is not an island and cannot exist as an island on its own. And so how do you hope to do all these things and ensure that it is the people who are residents here in Lagos, the people who are doing businesses here in Lagos, the people who are contributing to the growth of Lagos are the ones who will be benefiting from this fund?
You see, I love that question. I love that question. Lagos has the problem of about 21 states added together on its neck. But at the same time, Lagos has the income of about 21 states added together to its pockets. Do you get what I'm trying to say? The problem of Lagos is enormous. The resources of Lagos is enormous. Well, unfortunately, in Lagos, we are rich, but people are poor. And that is what we want to address in Lagos. Why are we this rich and the people are poor? People are poor because they are impoverished by the same government. And that is what we are going to address when we get to the system. You see, many people come into Lagos. How do we know the number of people that come into Lagos? I want to tell you, my brother, there's a country in Africa here called Somalia. Somalia witnessed kind of war that has never been witnessed in any part of Africa. Somalia was destroyed. It was leveled to ground. People are picking from the dustbin. In fact, it got to the extent that they are even almost hitting themselves. The same Africa. And that war continued to around 1986 or so, and 96 or so. But Somalia is a country, is not more than Lagos State. The entire Somalia is not more than Lagos State. And today, if you go to Somalia now, in fact, they say it's the fastest rising economy in Africa today. That is a war-torn country about 1.5 decades ago. Is now one of the fastest rising economy in Africa. It's even the fastest. And they even get the neatest city is Kigali, which is the capital.
Yeah, that's Rwanda.
So
the whole time you mentioned Rwanda.
Yeah, thank you. So that's what I want to say. So what I'm trying to tell you is that if you look at the metaphors, the way it metamorphizes from that stage to where they are now, you will see that it has to do with the leadership. It has to do with people that they are concerned about their welfare. They develop it, they grow it, and before we know what is happening, we'll see where we find the country today. If a poor country of that can rise in that magnitude, what is stopping Lagos from rising? One, if we get to power, number one thing is the security. Because the question you ask is interwoven with security. You cannot just be coming from Ogun State and just enter Lagos State anyhow. By the grace of God, if we get to power, I want to know the number of people that comes to Lagos State almost on every day.
But Nigerians have freedom of movement.
Yes, I will not say you should not enter, but we want to know what you are coming to do in Lagos. If you don't have business here, why are you coming here?
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know that you can turn any Nigerian away from coming into any state.
No, the law allows it. We can turn a Nigerian that is having ulterior motive in our state back to where he's coming from.
You will be going against the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
There's no law that says when you see somebody that is coming with a criminal intention, you should allow him to enter into your place.
So why I'm saying that is that if a person is coming with criminal intention,
yes,
and you are sure that the person has...
We will be sure.
You are sure that the person... How are you able to prove that the person has criminal intention?
Don't you see
and that is the reason for deporting them, as opposed to... That's why I'm saying that Lagos exists in a place where it is suffering as part of the larger dysfunctional state that is Nigeria.
You can make it functional depending on... So, no, in Lagos State.
In chasing...
We're not chasing. We're not going to chase.
But you just said that you send people back to where they're coming from.
Let me tell you why we are going to do it. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. By the time I get into sit, we will sponsor bills that has to do with security.
At state level or federal level?
At state level. It's allowed. It's allowed. By law, it's allowed. We will sponsor bills that is going to make sure that before you come into the state, you must have a purpose for coming to our state. You can't just come here to become a nuisance here. And that is what is happening everywhere. Look, that is why I told you earlier that Lagos, for instance, is the summation of about 19 or 21 states.
That's why I'm asking you, do you want to put checkpoints at Bega, at Ikorodu?
Not only...
How do you want to put border posts? Do people have to apply before coming to Lagos? How will that work?
That will not be... I don't even need all this you are saying. What we need to do is to make sure that all the entrance, all the border cities across Lagos State are manned by our own local security. We want to know who is coming in. You can just influx, it should be stopped. That's why we have criminals. That's why we have all problems. That's why we have kidnappings and everything. We will tackle that.
So every morning, and I'm giving you this example.
Yes.
So every morning, let's say at Bega, for people coming in from Mowe and that area, they are going to be subjected to checks every morning before they cross that Bega into Ikeja, coming to Lagos Island.
Let me tell you, there is going to be how do I put it? There's going to be a kind of an approach that will soften. For instance, now somebody that is coming in from the way is coming every day. There's no way our security outfit will not know them. You are coming in every day. You are going out every day.
A border post on a federal road.
Yes.
But that's a federal road.
It's a federal road. The status of Lagos, we are going to fight for extra status from that of other states. Because Lagos comprises of so many other states. So many states.
And you're going to do that in 4 years?
By the grace of God, where there's no way, there's no way. We do it. We will do it. We will do it. Look, that's the only way we can transform this city to what we want it to be. If we say we should continue the way we have been doing it before, everybody come in, everybody go out, things will remain the way it is. That is why you say they have big money, big problem. We will reduce our problem. We will reduce our liabilities to make sure that the fund that we are talking about is utilized very well for the citizens of Lagos.
One other problem that has sort of proven difficult for previous governments and even this present administration here to address in Lagos is that of housing. Lagos has, and I think at the last count, 2 million housing deficit.
You see, the problem why we are, is there will always be deficit. Unless this problem we just mentioned is tackled. Until we tackle this problem of indiscriminate influx, people are just coming in. They are for populating Lagos for no benefit.
Let me stop you here, sir. Because earlier on, you said that at the start of this interview, you said people are coming into Lagos, but they are not coming into Lagos as much as they were coming into Lagos back in the days, right? And so the problem is not of people coming into Lagos. You said that at the beginning of this interview. So I want to just oppose, I want you to speak on then when you said people coming into Lagos is not the problem, and now when you're saying the influx of people coming into Lagos is contributing to this housing problem. So at what point do people coming into Lagos stop being okay and start becoming a problem?
You see, let me tell you, every state takes care of its citizen. Every state takes care of its people. Or your state, indigenes cannot put their burden on the Lagos state. Ogun State indigene, Ogun State as a state cannot put their burden on Lagos State. So when we are talking of people, when we are talking of people-oriented government, that we want to take care of people, that our concern is about people and the people. People are coming in those days. The reason why they are coming in those days, you know it. And the reason is because this is more or less federal capital territory those days. That is gone. And we are not saying people should not come in. If you have a legitimate business doing Lagos, you can come in. But if you don't have a legitimate business doing Lagos, we will try to streamline it. We will try to manage it.
But
at the same time,
citizenship first, indigenship next. And in that, if that be the case, if I am a citizen of Nigeria first, before I am an indigene of Oshun, that then, like to my previous points, brings me back to, I don't think that the Lagos state government, or in fact, the Kogi state government, can stop me from living in Kogi today. If I want to move to Kogi, I don't have a job, I hope to find one in Kogi, and I want to stay there until something good happens to me.
You must have a link. You can't just come to Kogi like that.
I don't have a link.
I don't have a link.
I don't have a link.
What are you going there to do?
I hope to walk the streets of Kogi and find a job one day.
You just be walking the street of this.
Many people have found jobs that way.
That is why things are the way it is, and it will remain so. If you want your economy to be the best, if you want your society to be safe for everybody, and you want to be security conscious, it must start from the entry onto your state. If you don't man the entry to your state, if you don't know what is happening in the entry to your state, you can never guarantee security of your state, no matter how wealthy your state is.
I mean, I wonder how it will sound to people that Lagos State, that has benefited from the efforts of other states in the country, Lagos State, that was the former administrative capital, that has benefited from being the former administrative capital, has decided to turn around and put borders around it because it wants to stop the influx of other Nigerians into the states. At what point does this become a policy that Lagos State wants to defend with the federal government?
We are overflogging this issue.
And we are overflogging it because people need to know that this is what they are voting for.
What I'm going to tell you is this. You want to know, you must know what they are voting for. They are voting for a security conscious government. A government that is conscious of their security. When you are in here, you have business doing here, or you have family here, you are free to come in. You have family here, you have relative here, you are free to come in. You have a business here, you are free to come in. Even if you are coming for an interview, you are free to come in. But the first point of contact is that entrance. If we don't know why you are coming in, at the end of the day, you constitute a nuisance to the society. And that is why they are unable to control security of the state. So, Lagos State is not like every other state. This is a very light state. See the population. And you just have everybody to be coming in without even having a single record of who is coming in. The risk is there. And that is the risk I want to avert for my people if I get into power.
Right. So, in terms of education, Lagos is one of the leading states in terms of people being educated, but still, a lot of our primary schools are still below par, especially public primary schools. What are your plans for education, and how do you hope to make it accessible to everybody?
You see, it's unfortunate. I want to avoid rhetorics and semantics. Otherwise, I will just be towing the line of those old politicians. When they get to this seat, you are asking them questions, they will be saying, I will make sure I build 100 classroom, I will free textbook, free this, free that. Not minding the pulse of the state.
So, how does your government hope to fund education, especially at the tertiary level?
Thank you very much. You see, I'm a labor man. I have participated in so many ASUS struggle in the past. Because I was the chairman TUC, there's no way you will not be involved. So there's no ASUS strike up till the time I was the chairman of the council that I've not been involved. The problem with ASU is simple. There's a certain percentage, I have forgotten exact percentage, so I shouldn't quote it now. there's a certain percentage that ILO and World Economic Summit and World Education Summit approved that a budget must appear on your budget as a government for education, for funding education. If you do not follow exact percentage, there's no way there will not be crisis in education. Almost every government, they have a way of shying away from it. They have a way of cutting it and just indiscriminately put any percentage. In our own budget, yearly budget, we will abide by World Education Summit standard. We will abide by the ILO Convention standard on education. The moment we do that, look, there is no employee that can force employer to pay above what employer has in his purse. The rule does not allow them to do that. So there's no way anybody, be it ASU, be it NSC, be whatever, can force the government to pay above what they have in purse. The only thing that if Adventure, they abide with the rules of the game, which is Education Summit and ILO Summit. But unfortunately, where there is crisis is that government do not abide by that rule. So it is the struggle will continue, problem will continue like that. But when I get into power, because I am a purely labor man, I will abide with those rules. The percentage, the ILO say it should be left for education. The percentage, the World Education Summit say we should leave for education, I will not tamper with it. It will make my work easier. If I could do that, all the tertiary institutions in Lagos State, I don't think they will have any problem. If they now have problem, it now means that I don't put my political will into foreplay.
So as we wrap this up, sir, what are the other contents in your manifesto that you're very passionate about that you want to touch on?
Yes, I've touched about security. But security is paramount in our heart. It's very, very paramount. We support a regional security outfit to man, because see the percentage of police in Lagos, 17 million people, less than, we have up to 100,000 policemen in Lagos, man is 17 million. So we have to, definitely we must recruit we will recruit our own local outfit to man Lagos so that Lagos will be safe. That's one. Two is that this community police, we will encourage community police. All our aged people in their homes, we will equip them, we will fund them, we will make sure they know what is happening in our environment, so that security. We want Lagos to be safe in the night, just as it's safe in the day. We want everywhere to be safe. We want everybody to live here and say, when I sleep in Lagos, I sleep with my two eyes closed. That's one. Two, major problem this that we are talking about is job security, food security. There's crisis in that area. The reason why we have crisis in those areas is because the government failed to use its political will in the area of streamlining the activities of transport union in the state. Transport union in the state have been let loose too much. All these states, the countries we are talking about, if you see the way they run their transport union, you will not even know there's existing any union exists. The way they run their transport union is so simple, so easy. They digitalize it. The developed country, advanced country, they digitalize it and transport union. There is no way anybody will just stand on the street and be carrying stick and be collecting tax and collecting their levy from you in developed countries. It's not done. It's pollution. It's effluent discharge. It's disturbing the peace of the state. It added to the security problem. It added to our economic problem. It makes things harder for people. When you are in Ogun State, you will see that transport fare in Ogun State is lesser compared to here. Why? Because of the activities of transport union. When we get into power, we are not going to say transport union should be scrapped or they should be removed. Well, we are going to streamline the activities. We'll make sure that the activities is digitalized. A transporter in Lagos will have a code, and you pay once in a month, and there's no need for anybody pursuing you before you pay, because we assist even the union. We will assist the union to enforce that, and at the end of the day, everywhere will be safe and peaceful for everybody. That's what we have found. That is about the area of security, the area of. But I know, as I said the other time, by the time these things are in place, you will see that the cost of food will be minimized. The cost of almost everything will come to normal. But once I was coming, I decided not to come with my vehicle. If you see amounts that brought me here, I was saying, hey, see, this is what people pay for every transport they within Lagos. It's ridiculous. There's no young man that is just coming up, or young man that is just coming up. There's no way they can survive here. That is why there's crime. We must, we look into the activities of transport, and make sure. Now, then we talk about the health sector. We are very, very passionate about that. Why are we traveling out? Why are our political bigwigs, the moment they are sick, the moment they have little problem, you see them jetting out? Why are they jetting out? Lagos should be a home for all to come and take care of their health. We have the resources. We have what it takes to make sure we have land mass. I'm telling you, if I get into power, I will make sure we have a standardized health sector in Lagos. We don't need to go to Dubai. We don't need to go to America. We don't need to go to UK to take care of our health. The more we go out, the more our resources we are killing ourselves in Nigeria. And why is it like that? Lagos, for instance, I don't know. Each time Asiwaju is traveling out, I know within himself, he will not be happy with the government of Lagos State. Within himself, he will not be happy with the government.
But he was once a governor of Lagos
Yes,
State.
he will not be happy with what he left and with the people he left. This is 15 years. Asiwaju has left government. And you see these people, he put it there. He's the one that is replicating these people. And he see the way they are performing. Is it not enough for Asiwaju to call them to order? Let's have a standardized hospital where nobody will be traveling out. Let's make Lagos mecca of good health. Is it too much for him to do? Is it too much for Lagos to do? Those are the things we want to do. We want to make change. There's no change. There's no special change in Lagos State. I've been issue. For the past 21 years, there has not been a serious change in Lagos. There's not been a serious change in Lagos. What we inherited from federal government is what we are building on. What is the new thing in Lagos? Tell me. There's no new thing. By the time we get to power, we want to bring new thing to governance. We want to make sure, one, health is secured in Lagos State. Not only for the rich, even for the poor. We make sure that there is a room for the downtrodden to enjoy health in our facility. And not only for the downtrodden, even for the entire masses, even for the rich and for the poor. So those are the things we are looking at. Well, by the grace of God, we are not the author and finisher of everything. We owns it. By the grace of God, we get to power. We are going to make a serious change, and that's why I'm appealing to Lagos. Lagosians, let's make a change this time around. We cannot continue like this. Lagos should rise again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adebayo Ajayi.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, sir.